Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a max effort upper day, but a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please remember to click like down below, be greatly appreciated. So I wanted to really kind of see where I'm at with my really wide grip strength, and this is index fingers on the rings, the limit of meat legal. This felt weak and unstable. I know, I'm looking at this going, wow, this was not a very good bench. I can close grip more than this. I can straight up just close grip more than this, but I wanted to see where it was at. And I do think that we need to max on these different variations, irrespective of where we're strong. It's part of the conjugate system. Afterwards, I decided to do a little bit of heavier benching with medium grip, which pinkies on the rings, which is where I get the best wrist stacking, therefore probably the best pec activation. Again, this felt so much more comfortable. I ended up doing an 8-rep pause set, and then I went a little heavier, then added weight again twice for 5s, trying to do them really paused. So this is my only real raw bench training each week, is kind of right here in this spot is where I'm doing it, because everything else is bands or chains for the speed work, even though it is going to carry over. It is the same technique, it's the same form, it's just done for compensatory acceleration. But I do kind of like to do a little bit of heavier pressing here that's flat bench related, because what I've been switching over to is all incline and overhead work on dynamic days after the speed benching. So again, just a little bit of heavier benching using the leverages that are going to give me the best potential hypertrophy, which is that fully stacked position right there, right? Puts the pectorals into the most lengthened position possible. And then everything else was just real bodybuilder. And I've come to accept the fact that if I want my bench to go up, I've just got to keep getting thicker. This is what all the research says. This is something I've noticed with friends of mine, other people. Guys with big benches are just stacked. That's it. They look like bodybuilders up top, unless they're too fat. Okay? Anyone with a big bench, I know. And that's just how it is. It's just that simple. Then I have to just get thick. And I can treat my squat and deadlift training a little different, but benching, that's what I'm going to do. We're going to be looking at, hey, certain things need a little bit of bias towards my raw bench and the grips I'm using, such as a little more focus on incline and stuff. We have to have that. But, you know, pretty much everything else today just looked like a basic bodybuilder type program, right? Very, very, very bodybuilder-ish. And that's okay. And it's kind of like what I've told people, you know, your accessory work, and I've said that before, if after your max work or your speed work, your program looks like a powerlifting or a bodybuilding program, you're probably going to get decent results. You're not going to be far off. In this case, though, I really put some thought into, you know, which movements I was doing, and something I've been thinking about of pushing more and more and more in this direction, especially on upper body days, and especially as I'm cutting, okay? But, you know, and this is what the data says. We just have to get big. Again, certain muscles are going to help more than others, but any muscles getting thicker in the upper body has some potential for stabilizing or primary moving on the bench. But like I said, the incline work, the overhead pressing, all of that really, really is a big deal. Really a big deal. So it needs to be done. It has to be done. But what do we do here? Incline bench, paused, most of it paused, strict controlled, okay? Sticking for wrist stacking. All right. The rows were bent over rows, full bodybuilder style, normal bent over rows, which I call bodybuilder rows. They still build deadlifts, right? I used to do these all the time. You guys remember OG back in the day before I started doing a lot of the pin leg rows? I used to do these. Do them with straps, I didn't care. And I've rotated them in phases. Not a bad idea. Let me just strap up. My grip is fine right now. It's holding good. I do plenty of pulling, speed pulls, all that stuff. I'm doing dead hangs again because I'm trying to do overhead work and stuff again. So I've started adding dead hangs back in for my shoulder health. And I think what I'm going to work with is trying to work with the wider grips here. So the wider grips is, again, just due to my anatomy. My range of motion for my bone structure seems so limited with a closer grip that it kind of looks like these pull-ups or these chin-ups do. I really think I need to go a little wider on the chin-ups. So again, my shoulder situation doesn't get in the way, because this is a dead hang for me. So I wanted to throw some chins in today. I want to work on some chins, a little more bicep, wouldn't be a bad idea. Again, chin up is a longer range of motion than a pull up. I'm just trying to build as much muscle as possible in the upper body. And it does potentially have a little potential for a little more muscle. Okay. So I do need to go a hair wider on it though, just so that I can actually get through the situation with my joints to where I can't move it through what should be most people's range of motion. And it's the same with the overhead pressing. Yes, I use a little less weight, but I think as I build the muscles, it will go up. But I feel a lot more delt, a lot more side delt and everything, and trap when I do this. Whereas with the closer grip, I don't feel any of that. It's just all front delt. So again, trying to build more muscle here. But yeah, I'm going to mess with some chins a bit. And like I said, I've often listened to what Winning says with the supine grip. I don't know that that's really true. I don't know that that's true. I think if we avoid overuse and we don't do stuff that's bad for our tendons like preacher curls, and again, let's go back to the point, avoiding overuse, avoiding cheating, going too heavy, we'll be fine. I do need to get those chin-ups a lot stronger. Okay, I know my biceps limit them, so I need to work on biceps in a way that will carry over to the chins. Because again, so I always point out, we have a big movement. If we have a weak link in it, fix that weak link. And even though the chin up is an accessory itself, we can have an accessory for an accessory. And that's what I found worked for me in the past when I wanted to get to really high count of chin ups. So I'm trying to take them to the fullest stretch I can at the bottom. Notice a lot of those I pause at the bottom. That is my dead hang. But I think it will be a little cleaner and look a little better if I can get just a little bit wider. And I do know some physical therapists who recommend doing them that way. So if I can get a little wider, I can rotate the shoulders a little different, and get those elbows tucked in a little bit more. It'll help. So again, 3 sets of overhead press, doing them strict, paused, 3 sets of chins, and I only did like 6 reps on those, and that's enough at my body weight. I need to get those back up to about 14 or 15, which you guys have seen me do in the past. All right, so again, keeping with this same theme of let's work these muscles completely. Instead of worrying on my triceps and going, well, what's going to always get the best bench carryover, let's just get my triceps bigger. I went with leg extensions since we work all 3 heads completely with this. And we could make the case for that lengthened position helping at the bottom of the bench more. Make the case for that. So we did that, and then I did standing barbell curls. Note the range of motion here. I'm trying to take these through the full range of motion of the exercise. And also notice, neither one of these is a single joint movement. They're both multi-joint. The way I'm doing them, it makes them bigger exercises. Didn't go with a lot of weight on either because I haven't done them recently. I'll work these up, but I want to keep them strict. I don't want to sacrifice form or range of motion on these right now to get stronger at them. Let's just take everything through full ranges of motion. Okay, with a respectable amount of tension, close to failure, right? Taking them fairly close to failure, not too failure, to where I feel I'm within a couple reps. And that's to finish these things off to make sure I get some extra arm work because my arms do tend to lag behind other stuff due to my bone structure. I have a very, very thick rib cage and I have long arms. So again, a lot more frame to fill out across the torso. It's always going to look bigger. Longer arms are always going to look smaller. So putting in the extra arm work will help. And again, the extra arm work will help with the bench press. It will help with the bench press. And again, I don't see a problem with this even on a powerlifting program. People want to come in and do some extra arm work as long as it serves a purpose and it's not interfering with recovery or inflaming your tendons. I think we're okay. But I haven't done any of the barbell curls in a little while. I've been messing with dumbbells lately. So I figured out, let's do them. Let's work on them. That movement should help carry over to my chin-ups better. And I need to get better at the chin-ups. And again, we could argue that this sort of extension may not carry over to the bench amazingly well, although that long head activation may carry over to the max bench. There's some data on that. But at the very least, it'll get my triceps bigger, right? Get bigger. And I like J-arm presses, but I'm doing a lot of other big multi-joint presses. So I think in that case, I may not always get as much out of the J-arms at the moment as I would a slightly smaller extension. just pointing that out. And then I finished off with one set of band press downs after all of this to make sure that my tricep tendons stay healthy, because I am doing a lot of pressing. I want to keep my elbows healthy. I want to keep the tendons healthy. And we may have to do some of that for the biceps also coming up. If they start getting bothered at all by the chins and the curls, we'll have to do that there as well. But I thought I'd give a different camera angle on this last set of curls, so I moved the camera over for this. Pretty close to where I was going to do it for the band press downs. And I noticed with the band press downs, because I did tricep work all the way through every single superset, my triceps did not get any break through this workout, really. They got hammered all the way to the end. So the band press downs, I could not get as many reps. I've gotten up to like 60 plus reps with this band before. I think I got to just past 40, and that's all I could do. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.